David Moyes has said that JWP and Edson Alvarez are both available for selection on Sunday's game. Russ and the West End Network. Hope you're all safe and well. It's Hammers Headlines in association with the KUMB.com boys. On a Friday before match day, we always bring you a synopsis, very long word for Friday, of the David Moyes press conference where we go through what's been said, give you our thoughts and that type of thing. Relatively small press conference in terms of what was available for the public consumption. Obviously, there's the embargoed section, which we'll find out more about later on tonight. That's embargoed until 10:30 UK time in the evening. So anything new comes out, we'll bring that to you maybe during the late show, any breaking news about it. So let's go straight into it. Let's talk about the team news. So Moyes' team news. He goes, I'm not sure we've got anyone unavailable. Both James Ward-Prowse and Edson Alvarez are available for Sunday. James has Premier League experience and has scored and assisted goals throughout his career. Edison will bring us something as well, and I hope both will be great signings for us. I bloody hope so too. Personally, in my own opinion, I think I can see JWP making a massive impact on Sunday. I think Alvarez may be on the bench. I don't think he'll start. And the reason being, we'll talk about a little bit later on about pre-season and getting minutes under your belt. And by what Moyes has said, Alvarez wouldn't qualify for that sort of length of period. Obviously, in terms of finishing his last game, he went on holiday. He was still actually coming back from holiday when we signed him, so he hasn't had a pre-season really. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, I mean, we weren't aware of any other injuries anyway from the weekend or anything else. So apart from anyone who's left, that's anyone who can't play, really. Let's talk about Maguire was one of the questions asked. And he basically said, I don't want to talk about players at other clubs, but we did have an offer for Harry Maguire. But at the end, we haven't been able to take it further. We're looking at several players at other clubs. And the reason why that question was asked was because he was asked a similar question last week. So they actually did talk about a player that wasn't his own player, and now he's gone back at it. But obviously, by all accounts, several other centre-back options have been looked at. We know that probably the most likely is Kostanios Mavropanos, or Dino's to his friends. So yeah, apparently Dino's from Stuttgart. A little sort of tidbit of information there is Stuttgart looked like to already have acquired on the brink of acquiring their replacement for Dino, and that is the Crystal Palace centre back Chris Richards, who was himself just in the Bundesliga the season before. So he was he left the German top flight last July. £8.5 million move from Bayern Munich to Crystal Palace hasn't really worked out, and it looks like Stuttgart might come in with a move for the 10-capped USA international. So yeah, he's only featured once from 9 fixtures under Roy Hodgson. Yeah, he could be going back to Stuttgart or go back to the Bundesliga, and that could mean that it frees up the space for Dino. We'll see. Anyway, a lot of this press conference was asked about players, not necessarily about like the match itself coming up on Sunday. It's always like this with so much West Ham news that's coming in and out in terms of transfer windows and in terms of comings and goings and disputes. People forgot the fucking game on Sunday. And there was a couple of questions asked about that, but not much at all. He was then asked about Paqueta, and obviously the news that broke quite sort of shortly on about the fact was, Sky Sports reporting 90% chance that the deal is collapsed to Man City due to confidential reasons. They could be lack of funds available potentially. It could be maybe his shoulder injury is of a concern. Maybe they might just don't want to pay that much for him. When asked about Paqueta, he said, I can't shed any light on this Lucas Paqueta situation. I said last week there'd been an inquiry from City, but I can't say any more than that. So keeping his cards very close to his chest is David Moyes. Asked about Jesse Lingard. Obviously, we know he's training. He says, we've not considered a deal for Jesse at the moment. That being the word, at the moment. He's training to get back fit and in decent condition, and he'll be here next week as well. And for the rest of the contract we offer him. Players need 4 to 5 weeks in pre-season, and he's no different to anyone else. So, that to me sort of kiboshes really Alvarez making a significant, start to the campaign, because he hasn't had 4 to 5 weeks pre-season. We know JWP has. That's why I could probably see him starting against Chelsea, but not Alvarez. But by all accounts, according to ex-WHU employee, they're very impressed. I did my sort of roundup, my Rusty Rimmer roundup at lunchtime today, and they were very impressed with his attitude, with how well he's doing in training. But apparently, Mark Noble is going to play a huge part in this deal if it happens, in terms of being there in charge of basically almost being like his minder, it seems. And at 30 years old, he's got a babysitter, but that's basically what they're trying to insinuate, that he's going to be the one making sure that Jesse's on the right track and stuff like that. And look, I think if you get 70%, 80%, 75%, say, of the Jesse Lingard we got on that loan spell a couple of years ago, ain't a bad signing. And I think if the salary and the remuneration package is heavily weighted towards performance, we're in a no-lose situation then. If he plays really well, he'll get paid for playing really well, and West Ham will win games. So particularly with someone like Lanzini leaving, he could fit that role. I wouldn't say he's a starter at all. But I think he would get minutes, and might get minutes in Europe as well. He's got experience. So I know it's a bit of a joke, but I could see it, And as I said, it's this sort of yin and yang with Moyes and Steindl, signings. We had Alvarez, and I appreciate he was scouted before Steindl, but Steindl went out to Ajax to get him. Steindl deal. JWP, Moyes deal. Maybe someone like Kudus, Steindl deal. Lingard, Moyes deal. Now, Dino, in terms of Mavropanos, seems to be someone who bridges the gap between both. So it's almost like, you get one, I get one. It's the worst way of working, but it's as long as we're getting bodies in, I think, because we need them desperately, in quality as well, not just quantity. Asked about the actual game on Sunday, which is nice, at the press conference for the game. He just said Chelsea spent a lot of money as well, and it doesn't always guarantee success. They're entitled to do so, as they do, and they've signed a lot of really talented players. Obviously, news today, it was confirmed in the press conference that was held by Chelsea that Reece James is out. Sustained another injury in training this week, and Poch has said it's a sad moment because he is our captain. So they've lost their captain for the game against West Ham. So there you go. I mean, obviously, Chelsea, they've also announced the signing of Romeo Lavia, as well as obviously the signing of Casada this week. So they keep splashing the cash, don't they? Obviously, they missed out on Michael Olise. Actually, it's quite. Me and Scott Minto had a little chat this morning, which we put up on the channel, about the game ahead, and it's going. I mean, both sides. It's going to be really interesting to see how it pans out. I think there's narratives on both sides based on the results. If Poch, I think Poch is at the moment is in this transitional period, which we've heard sits to death on this word transitional period, but he is. And so, if he gets, he got a decent draw, Liverpool, Chelsea of old, Scott was saying, would have lost that game. So they're showing a bit of fight. They've bought well, I think. They bought some very good players. Casado, I like. Lavia, I like. Axel, the Disassi, I think is a great player. Great centre half. And obviously, Christian Nkoku is going to be playing. But Nicholas Jackson's playing very well by all accounts. So, yeah, it's going to be a really tough game on Sunday. Asked about Poch, Moyes said, Poch has been here before and knows the league well. He's experienced now. It's always good to go up against the best managers. And he's in that bracket. He certainly is. He seems to have given Chelsea a bit of a backbone in terms of what we've seen for the last couple of games, which, hopefully it doesn't continue on Sunday. That's what I'm saying. We'll have loads of content coming up this week. Coming up to the game, we'll have all the starting 11s. We have the previews. We'll have match day morning. We'll have watch-alongs. All that type of stuff we'll be having. So keep an eye on the channel because there's loads coming up. Loads. And then after the game as well. And obviously this game represents the first time back since winning back at home, because it is our home again now because we've paid the lease for this season. So obviously the first time back since winning the European competition, the ECL. Moyes was asked a question about that, the importance of that being there, and he just said, "We want everyone to come in the way they were in into East London and on the night of Prague. We're looking forward to being back here at home, and I'm sure it'll be a good atmosphere. And I'm sure it will be a great atmosphere. I've got this sort of conspiracy theory that you might see a couple of people signed by the weekend in order to be presented to the crowd on Sunday, to get a real good feeling factor. If it happens, I'm literally it's just a thought in my mind. I don't think it's going to happen. I do think it's going to happen, but it's just more hypothetical because there's been a lot. Obviously, Tim's in Holland trying to bring back another player from Ajax. I'm hoping that I'm hoping that Fabrizio Rana is like tweets another picture of Tim at the back, of the private jet. Getting a lot of mileage at that private jet, aren't we? Considering it's been to Ajax twice, couldn't it just brought both over at the same time? We could save the old air miles, couldn't we? Really save the planet. Anyway, that's it, my friends. Make sure you keep an eye on the channel. Make sure you also keep an eye on the lovely guys at kumb.com. Great content, all that good stuff. Great forums, great opinions. Always keep an eye on East Village Hammer because he ain't too shabby when it comes to his older predictions. But if you like what we do, don't forget to like, comment, share, all that good stuff. And we'll be back later on tonight. So for the late shows, take care, stay safe, stay warm, stay humble. It's a bit warm, it's a bit clammy, it's a bit moist in Hornchurch at the moment. So anyway, take care, stay safe, stay warm, and I'll see you guys very, very soon. Much love. Bye.